Hey Southwest Region, we are back with the next QRT. This is Sean Henry, one of our Hall of Famers, Silver Cup champs, over 550 grand in total career sales out of the Austin, Texas office. And he is going to help you guys with some tips on recommendations. He's excellent. If I remember correct, you started as a new rep with like 4 people on your brainstorming list because you were in a newer area or whatnot, and you built it all from there. So you're the perfect person to ask to give us advice on recommendations.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, just to tell you, I started only with my mom and my neighbor and then my 2 best friends' parents. And from that, I've got almost 2,000 customers now. I'll tell you what I did. One of the things was I was really focused on getting the leads because I feel like that's the most important part of the business. Maybe if you had a chance to do a couple of appointments, you'll understand what I mean. And when you did your first appointment, you probably didn't do a very good job, but when you did your 10th appointment, you were a lot better. Well, imagine how good you'll be after you've done 100 appointments. And the thing is that you're never going to get the opportunity to do those appointments if you don't focus on getting those leads. The thing I've learned is I always try to do a really good job on my appointments, but I always get different results. Whether the customer buys or not isn't always up to me. What I'm there to do is get those referrals. That's what I think is the most important. And I'll share with you what I say when I first get there. I try really hard to just kind of take the pressure off my customer, and I have an approach that I use. As soon as the door opens, like as soon as I get there, the first thing I say is, first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for having me over. I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. I want you to know, although I'm here to show you Cutco today, my #1 goal is that you're impressed with me and my presentation enough that you wouldn't mind introducing me to a few other people. That's actually my favorite part of my job, is that everyone I get to go and see, I've been personally recommended to. And you see what that does is it kind of sets the tone that you're not just there to sell something, and it creates a positive expectation for more referrals at the end of the appointment. So that way, all throughout the appointment, they're thinking about, oh, this would be good for this person, this would be good for this person. And it just kind of leads to getting a lot more leads. And it also puts you in the hot seat. It puts you in a position where you have to deliver. I don't believe in being a pushy salesman or anything like that. I think if you're pushy and you're there to do one thing, and that's get a sale, you put a lot of pressure on yourself and you put a lot of pressure on the customer. And what ends up happening is you don't sell anything and you definitely don't get leads. So try to get into that mindset. I think the meat and potatoes of this business aren't necessarily how good you are at selling, but getting those leads, and then also taking the time to make the phone calls later, getting good at phone time, calling them, being consistent with your schedule, making sure that you're making calls every day and getting appointments set.
Awesome. And you said if you get to the end and they're writing things down and they're just not writing very many, are there ways that you get more leads?
Oh, well, yeah. First of all, I always ask for thousands of leads. I throw out some crazy number. Okay, if you could just get started, maybe jot down 10,000 names, that would be fine. Whatever the approach is, I ask. The more you ask for, the more you'll get. So I just throw out this crazy number, like 1,000 or 10,000, just jokingly. And guys, sometimes I've actually had customers give me the phone book to the whole neighborhood association or whatever it is. And I mean, this is crazy. They'll just go through it and circle all the people they know. You never know if you don't ask. But yeah, sometimes if the customer's just really hesitant about it, I'll actually give them a really cool incentive. Like I'll say, hey, you know what, if you can give me 20 leads, then I'll actually give you a free ice cream scoop, or I'll go ahead and add that peeler that I know you wanted. I can add it to your order for free, something like that. So I try to incentivize it because I'm not afraid to bribe my customers. Like I said, I really want those leads, so that's what I'm there to get. I'd rather get 20, 35, 20 leads or more and maybe have a smaller sale than just sell a homemaker and get no leads, because in the long run those leads are more valuable. That's just my opinion.
And so generally you're doing that with any extra bonus points that you have left over.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you ever had to do it where you just buy it for them because there's no bonus points left?
Well, sometimes if something like that comes up, usually you can talk to your manager about it and let them know, like, hey, I got all these leads and I made a deal with my customer. Maybe you can talk to your manager beforehand. Your manager wants you to get leads too, so if you tell them, like, hey, I came up with this idea to give my customer a free accessory whenever they give me 20 or more leads, and the managers can order the product at a discounted price, just like you get stuff during your fast start, or you can set up contests with your manager to get extra product for your sample kit.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, how long have you been selling Cutco now?
For just over 3 years.
3 years?
Just over 3 years.
And again, about 550K, so obviously big seller, big shipper, and hard worker. Tell us some of your favorite things about being a rep, selling Cutco.
Well, first of all, I'll just say, Cutco has completely changed my life, because when I first started selling Cutco, I was not a good salesperson. I was terrible. I actually worked at Taco Bell and at Hooters before I did Cutco, so I didn't have any experience, and really just surrounding myself with all the people that work for Cutco and the training programs you really develop as a person, and it's just it's been an amazing experience, because trust me, I never would have thought that I'd be a top salesman or anything like that. But things that I love about the position, I gotta say, I love the freedom. I've had some big years in the past, but this past year was my best year ever, and I was able to be a full-time student, and I sold just over 130,000, and I went on 17 trips, guys. Like, I was able to travel all over the world and just have some amazing experiences. And a lot of you guys are teenagers or young adults, and 50% is no joke. It's really an incredible opportunity, and if all the top shippers around our business, they're selling at least 100,000. That means these people are making $50,000 or more. And some of these guys are teenagers. It's just incredible what you can do. So I gotta say, my favorite part of the job is definitely going to be the freedom. Running my own business and being able to take time off when I want, and really manage my own schedule and have a good time doing it. I love that.
And tell me this, 'cause I know you were one of the Push Week champions too, in one of the biggest competitions nationally. You sold 40 grand?
Yeah, just over 40,000.
40 grand in about 2 weeks. So what's a quick tip to having a good Push Week?
Well, I would say having a massive action plan, like we call it a MAP. I don't know, maybe somebody else gave that tip.
Nope. Not yet.
A massive action plan, which is basically planning, knowing how much time you have to work, and then planning every minute down to the detail, down to breaking it down to the ridiculous, like knowing exactly how many appointments you're going to need to do, exactly when you're going to need to make calls, and what your averages are, what your closing percentages are. So if you do 5 appointments and you sell on 4 of them, then you need to do a certain number, and then what your average order is, different things. Just really breaking it down and having a rock solid plan, and then you guys, you can't ever give up during a push week. Every push that I've ever competed in, it just seems like they all come down to the last final day. Like, I always reach my goal on the last day of the push, and we call it Miracle Monday. And you have to be willing to just put it all out there on the line, and know that when the push week is over, that you gave it everything you had. No regrets. You don't want to look back on the past 2 weeks or the 10 days or whatever the push week might be, and have regrets about knowing that you didn't work as hard as you could have. If I don't reach my goal, at least I know that I did the best job that I possibly could. And to me, that's a successful push.
Awesome. And any quick advice on whether or not they should go to conferences? If they're thinking, should I go to this conference?
Well, 2 reasons that I've become a successful salesperson is going to the conferences. All the things that I learned while I was at those conferences, it was incredible. Sometimes it's even overwhelming. You just have so much good information. You don't even know what to do with it at all, because it's just really great stuff. And then, so going to the events, and then the relationships that I built with top people, other people around the business, guys like Josh Muller, Brett Lancaster, Justin Ledford, Jason Jeffries, Curtis Jacques, a couple of other great people in the Southwest region and around the nation. And, those relationships have really helped me sell a lot more because of them. And, so going to the conferences and then meeting with other top people, I've always believed that there are 2 ways to learn. One is to go out and make all the mistakes yourself, learn from your own mistakes, and that's going to take a lot of time. Or you can reach out to other top people who've been doing it for a long time, who've already made those mistakes and learned, and you can grow your business way more quickly. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't gone to conferences and built relationships with other top people.
Perfect. Great information. I loved it all. High five. And Sean Henry, we'll be back next time.